I feel very confident predicting autonomous robotaxis for Tesla next year. Not in all jurisdictions because we won't have regulatory approval everywhere, but I'm confident we will have at least regulatory approval somewhere literally next year. So any customer will be able to add or remove their car to the Tesla network. So we expect this to operate it's sort of like a combination of maybe the Uber and Airbnb model. So if you own the car, you can add or subtract it to the Tesla network, and Tesla would take 25 or 30% of the revenue. And then in places where there aren't enough people sharing their cars, we would just have dedicated Tesla vehicles. So when you use the car, we'll show you our ride-sharing app. So you'll be able to summon the car from the parking lot, get in, and go for a drive. It's really simple. So you just take the same Tesla app that you currently have. We'll just update the app and add a summon Tesla, or commit your car to the fleet. So it's either summon your car, or summon a Tesla, or add or subtract your car to the fleet. You'll be able to do that from your phone. So we see potential for smoothing out the demand distribution curve, and having the car operate at a much higher utility than an old car would operate. So like typically the use of a car is about 10 to 12 hours a week. So most people will drive 1.5 to 2 hours a day, typically 10 to 12 hours a week of total driving. But if you have a car that can operate autonomously, then most likely you'd have that car operate for a third of the week or longer. So there are 168 hours in a week, so probably you've got something on the order of 55 to 60 hours a week of operation, maybe a bit longer. So the fundamental utility of a vehicle increases by a factor of 5. So you can look at this from a macroeconomic standpoint and say, just if this was like if we were operating some big simulation, if you could upgrade your simulation to increase the utility of cars by a factor of 5, that would be a massive increase in the economic efficiency of the simulation, just gigantic. So we'll do Model 3, S3 and X as taxis, but we made an important change to our leases. So if you lease a Model 3, you don't have the option of buying it at the end of the lease. We want them back. If you buy the car, you can keep it, but if you lease it, you have to give it back. And as I said, in any locations where there's not enough supply for sharing, Tesla will just make its own cars and add them to the network in that place. So the current cost of a Model 3 ROBOTAXI is less than $38,000. We expect that number to improve over time. And we're designing the cars. The cars currently being built are all designed for 1 million miles of operation. So the drive units are designed and tested and validated for 1 million miles of operation. The current battery pack is about maybe 300 to 500,000 miles. The new battery pack that probably go into production next year is designed explicitly for 1 million miles of operation. The entire vehicle, battery pack inclusive, is designed to operate for 1 million miles with minimal maintenance. So we'll actually be adjusting tire design and really optimizing the car for a hyper-efficient robotaxi. And at some point, you won't need steering wheels or pedals, and we'll just delete those. So as these things become less and less important, we'll just delete parts. They won't be there. If you say like probably 2 years from now, we make a car that has no steering wheels or pedals. And if we need to accelerate that time, we can always just delete parts, easy. Yeah, probably, say long term, 3 years, robotaxis with eliminated parts, maybe it ends up being $25,000 or less. And we want a super efficient car so that the electricity consumption is very low. So we're currently at 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour, but we'll improve that to 5 and beyond. And there's just really no company that has the full stack integration. We've got the vehicle design and manufacturing, we've got the computer hardware in-house, we've got the in-house software development and AI, and we've got by far the biggest fleet. It's extremely difficult, not impossible perhaps, but extremely difficult to catch up when Tesla has 100 times more miles per day than everyone else combined. This is the cost of running a gasoline car, or the average cost of running a car in the US. This is taken from AAA. So it's currently about 62 cents a mile, 13,500 miles, 250 million vehicles, adds up to $2 trillion a year. These are literally just taken from the AAA website. The cost of ride sharing is, according to Uber and Lyft, is $2 to $3 a mile. The cost to run a ROBOTAXI, we think, less than 18 cents a mile. And dropping. Like this would be current. This is current cost. Future cost will be lower. If you say, what would be the probable gross profit from a single ROBOTAXI? We think probably something on the order of $30,000 per year. And we expect that we're literally designing, we're designing the cars the same way that commercial semi-trucks are designed. Commercial semi-trucks are all designed for a 1,000,000-mile life, and we're designing the cars for a 1,000,000-mile life as well. So in nominal dollars, that would be, a little over $300,000 over the course of 11 years. It might be higher. I think these consumptions are actually relatively conservative, and this assumes that 50% of the miles driven are not useful. So this is only at 50% utility. By the middle of next year, we'll have over 1 million Tesla cars on the road with full self-driving hardware, feature complete, at a reliability level that we would consider that no one needs to pay attention. Meaning you could go to sleep from our standpoint, if you fast forward a year, just maybe a year and 3 months, but next year for sure, we will have over 1 million ROBOTAXIs on the road. The fleet wakes up with an over-the-air update. That's all it takes. You say, what is net present value of a ROBOTAXI? Probably on the order of a couple $100,000. So buying a Model 3 is a good deal. Any questions?